Thank you, Avnie. So I'm very delighted to be here with everybody today. I'm sorry I have to use my phone. So what you're seeing right now on screen is not me. I am here. So you may want to pin me. Let me try and see if I can pin myself and make myself. There we go. Is that better? Can everyone see? No, maybe not. But the sound on my computer is not working. It just stopped working today, and I've had to be resourceful and use my phone as a sound and use my laptop as a camera here. So I'm sorry if you see two of me, but when the presentation comes up, it should fix itself. Okay, but I'm delighted to be here in front of everybody today. As Avnie has said, that I'm here to just talk to you a bit about social media and how you can leverage social media as a creative. And I think it's an important thing because often as creatives, the thing you want to do is just create, right? You just want to create, you just want to be your best self and in your creative world. You don't want to have to worry about, having to showcase and be on social media 24/7, because it is a task in itself. But I want to share with you today why it's important that you get on social media as a creative. Okay, so I'm going to share a presentation, just a short one. If you could give me co-host rights, please, Avnie.
Yes, so you should have the rights now. Try it.
Yeah. So let's see. Doesn't seem to want to show up.
Is it working?
It's okay. Let's see. I'm just going to stop and try and come out again. There we go. Is that better now?
Yeah, I can see.
Right. Great. Okay, amazing. So I just want to share with you how you can leverage social media as a creative. And I feel kind of awkward going after Ketna because she had such visually stunning images, right? And as you can tell, I'm sorry, but the rest of my presentation is not going to be as visually stunning as Ketna's. It's going to be quite boring and quite straightforward, but it will give you the information that you need. Okay. So, okay. Let me just get this up. Okay, so one of the challenges that I often get when I speak to people in the creative field is that they find social media quite overwhelming, and if it's really a platform for them, and I say everybody, if you are living in this digital age that we are in, no matter what profession you are in, no matter what industry you're in, you need to be on social media because you're going to find out how, as a creative, that you can leverage it to your benefit. Okay, so these are some of the challenges, and let me know in the chat if you find some of these challenges. So you're probably wondering, is social media ready for me? And one of the challenges that people face is visibility. How do I become more visible on social media? Do I focus on getting a lot of followers? What content do I post? How do I become more visible on social media as a creative? Limited resources. Now, creators are often have limited resources in terms of what they can use, how they can, the time as well in which they can use to access the resources that they need in order to produce what it is that they need to produce for their audience. Time management. Do you have the time to post on social media? As Avnie said, many of us really, even myself, I'm not a creative as such, but just everyday normal person. When I work with a lot of my business coaching clients, this is the number one thing they say: I don't have the time to post on social media. I find it overwhelming. I just find it overwhelming. And it's something that everybody deals with, so you're not alone. And then it's also, how do I build a consistent brand on social media? And I want you to understand this point. When you are on social media, if you are not just posting photos of yourself on holiday or posting selfies, if you actually want to use social media to build an audience, to engage audience, and to get work, you need to think about building a brand. And that in itself is consistent work that is needed. Okay, so let's move on to the opportunities. So these might be the challenges you face, but there are also opportunities that social media does present. A global audience. You have direct access to a global audience. Okay, how many of you have connected with people who are not within your postcode or within your country? I have connected with many people. I have got opportunities myself with other organizations overseas. You are connected directly to a global audience, and it provides creatives with an unprecedented opportunity to reach an audience without the need for traditional intermediaries. So you can share your work directly with potential fans, clients, collaborators, regardless of your geographical boundaries. Building a personal brand, right? So I spoke about this might be a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for you to build a brand that showcases your unique style, such as Ketna's. I've never seen anything like that. I might still keep referring back to Ketna's work because I've never seen artwork so amazing like that. Okay, but it allows you to showcase your unique style, your own artistic vision, and allows you to share a story that will help you establish a loyal following, and it will help you differentiate yourself from others in your field. It will provide amazing networking and collaboration opportunities. And I'll go into this further when it comes to collaborations, but networking, in the last 2 or 3 years, most of the people I talk to, most of the work that I've got from being on social media has been from networking on social media. There's some people I've met on social media, we've become friends and we haven't even met in real life, right? And then when we do meet, it's like, oh, this is actually the first time we've met. It just seems like we've known each other for ages. There are so much opportunities to network and collaborate. And then you also get direct access and engagement with your audience. So you're able to get immediate feedback on a piece of work, interaction with your audience, and engage. And from that feedback and interaction, you will be able, as a creative, to get valuable insights that helps you foster and create a community around your work. Now you may be wondering, how do I start building that strong presence, Jasmine? So yes, there are challenges that I face, and you've mentioned the opportunities that I can have as a creative when it comes to social media, but how do I go about building a strong social media presence? Well, that would involve several elements. And to do this effectively, here are some elements that you might want to consider. So the first one is being consistent with your branding. You want to establish a brand. What is something that makes you stand out, that is going to help you be consistent? So depending on what platform you use, it could be a tagline, it could be a signature, it could be a stamp, something that tags you as a creative. I know in the music industry, some producers, when they are producing music, they have a tag. They might say their name on the record, and then people become familiar with that particular producer. When it's art, some people might have a certain style, a certain signature style. So what is your brand? What is your consistent identity? How are people going to be able to identify you on social media? You want to have a cohesive visual style. Now, social media, unless it's Twitter or the newly claimed Threads, but Threads you can kind of post, but social media is somewhat very visual. For the creators that I interact with, it's a very visual platform. So you want to develop a cohesive visual style that sets your content apart from the rest. So this can include consistent color palettes, photography, illustration styles, filters, a specific editing approach. You may want to use high visual quality content that showcases your creative work in the best possible way. So you want to make sure that you're not using like a second grade camera or audio equipment, recording equipment. You want it to stand out so it looks like a polished, finished piece of work. Because when it comes to maybe presenting yourself or pitching for work, or people commissioning your work, this is what they're going to see. This is essentially going to be your portfolio, your online portfolio. Then you want to have an engaging content strategy. Okay, so you want to develop a strategy that aligns with your creative goals and that resonates with your target audience. So this is very key here when we're talking about your audience and your target audience. It's not going to be everyone. So you need to develop. I haven't got much time to go into it today, into much depth. And if you have any questions at the end, I'm happy to answer it. But you want to make sure that your content is geared towards a certain target audience. If your goal is to get your work bought, if you want people to buy your work, then you want to target your content towards people who are interested in buying art. Do you understand? If it's commissioning work or doing logo designs, graphic work, whatever, you want to target your content towards those who will use or who would want that service. And then I've put here cross-promotion and collaborations. Now, I've seen some amazing collaborations on IG, on Instagram alone, and across LinkedIn, etc., with creators with their artworks. And I love the example that Ketna put. She bought a Rolls Royce, and she just bought a Rolls Royce, right? And wrapped it in her art. Now, that could have been a potential collaboration. Not that Rolls Royce would probably want their cars wrapped in art, but that is what I talk by cross-promotion and collaboration. I've seen one with an artist, and there was a company who sold reusable pads for women, and they had a special limited edition. So an artist designed some limited edition pads for that brand. And that's something that you could possibly do with your art, whatever it looks like, if it's a design. So that's why it's important to establish your unique style, your unique brand, because that's a potential collaboration that you can have with your pieces of art. All right, you want to ensure as well, I haven't got it on here, you want to ensure that you're engaging and regularly and consistently posting. Now, this is the part where it becomes overwhelming, and I'm going to stop sharing so you can see my face. So this is the part where it can become wildly overwhelming when it comes to regular and consistent posting. What do I post? What times do I post? How many days a week should I be posting as a creative? And there are ways in which you can take that overwhelm off and make it a lot more easier for yourself. And I do it, a lot of my clients do it, and I always encourage my clients to do it, because we cannot be waking up on the day and thinking, I have to post something. What am I going to post? And you're spending about half an hour to 2 hours putting together a post and it's just not the best use of your time. So what I would suggest you do is spend a day, maybe a day a week, half a day a week, gathering all your content. I am thinking about what you want to post for the week and then scheduling that out in a platform such as Meta. So Meta Business Suite, Facebook has a scheduling thing for Facebook and Instagram posts. There's a platform called Hootsuite that allows you to schedule your content on there. And it's very easy, very straightforward. You can spend your day collecting your content, scheduling it out, and then it will schedule and post your posts for you. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to constantly sit on social media engaging if that's not what you want to do. But I would say in the first instance that you want to make sure that you are, if people are engaging, if people are messaging you, you want to engage with your audience, you want to get on there, but you don't have to worry about consistently posting, right? So maintain a schedule that will allow you to consistently post. Optimize the frequency of your posts. So start to see what works in terms of frequency. So a 3 posts a week, 3 posts a week enough? Are people engaging? If not, you might want to increase that or decrease that. And like I said, yeah, actively engage with your audience. That's so important. You create more of a community when people direct, and this is why people like and dislike Twitter so much. Because one, it gave people direct access to people they thought they couldn't get in touch with. So celebrities, anyone before the blue ticks, we had to buy the blue ticks. Anyone that had a blue tick was somebody that was out of reach. And it gave people direct access to their celebrities, their idols, and they could talk directly to them and they would talk back. Some people would troll, bully, etc. But you're going to get that. That's the dark side of social media that we can go into another time. But it gave people that access. And what that did, it really helped boost that particular person's brand if they were in communication back with their fans. So that's what you want to make sure that you do, that you monitor closely those comments and engagements with your audience. So just remember that building a strong presence is it doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistency, authenticity. So always show up as yourself. There's nothing worse when I see my clients feel like they have to be somebody else on social media because they've seen somebody else do it that way. We don't need to do that. There are many people that may do what you do. There may be many people who are artists, who are creators and do what you do, but you are one of one. And that's how you're going to have to show up. You show up and you attract people because of your authenticity, not because of that you look like somebody. Just remember to always be your unique self, and that is enough. Okay? So another tip to engage in your audience. So I've put here, know your audience. Understand who your target audience is. I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to go back to the slides because I think this is so important, especially as creatives. Who is your audience and where are they? So can you see it? Here we go.
Yeah, we can see it.
Good. So these are the most common platforms that people use. So you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, there's Twitter, there's now Threads. But you have other platforms that are kind of underground, like Pinterest is a good one. Reddit, all of those type of platforms that you have there, they are the platforms at which you can establish and start working up your brand. LinkedIn is also a very, very good one for creatives. The people think it's more corporate style, but I think it's an amazing platform for creators. If you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, I would start to build one there and connect with people on that. Now, with these platforms, it's important to know your audience. So you don't want to be on every single one if your audience is not on there. So when I'm talking about your audience, I'm talking about who do you want to see get the value from what you're producing at the end of it? Is it children? Is it mothers? Is it corporates? Is it network, television, media companies? Who is it? Where are they? Because wherever your audience is, that's where you need to be. You want to research their demographics, such as their age and their location, and tailor your content towards them accordingly. Okay? You want to use the craft of storytelling to engage a narrative around your audience and captivate your audience. So I do this on my social media, with my platform. I find that my audience are people that like to procrastinate. Nobody likes to procrastinate, right? But we just do it. So I say we like to procrastinate because we are aware that we're procrastinating and we know that we've got things to do. So I might create content around procrastination and how to get out of procrastination. So the audience, when they see that, they resonate and realize, okay, she talks about procrastination. Let me go and look about what other things that she does. Create a story, create a storytelling elements around your brand, put them in your captions, in your videos, put them in image descriptions. And what stories does, what that does as well, it creates an emotional connection. And we know that once you've tapped into the emotion of your audience, they are hooked in, right? They are hooked in. If you can tap into the emotions, and art, like creative art, music, that does that so well for audiences. That is why we use it. I use music to help capture my audience as well, because I can post a picture, but I'll use music because I know it's going to help resonate and draw people in more if it's familiar to my audience. So use that to really captivate, and really when somebody looks at your piece of work or listens to your piece of work, that is going to draw them in. Again, use high quality visuals. It's so important as creators that you do this. And I say this because my daughter currently has an art page that she started. And I tell her, her drawings are amazing, but the format in which she's showing them on social media at the moment doesn't do it justice. It just doesn't. It gives it just looks like a pencil drawing in a book. But when I see it in person, it looks stunning. It looks amazing. So the visuals to what you put on as a creative, if you are presenting yourself as a creative, your visuals, your audios, it needs to be clear. I cannot stress this enough. If it's not high quality, if it's not clear, don't put it on or use it as a promotion, as a form of promotion, because it will just let somebody who might be interested in buying look at you and think, no, they're not professional. This is not somebody I want to work, or is this what my work is going to look like if I ask them or if I commission them to do a piece of work. So that is very, very important. Incorporate variety as well, right? This is important. Sometimes we can get so stuck in our ways and get used to one way of doing things. It's so important to create variety. And I've seen this done well with some artists and some creators. When you are, there's a drummer, she's a drummer, a musician, and she's a drummer. And how she creates her content, yes, she might drum and do everything, but now she's created like a series, and she calls it Drummer versus Producer. And she breaks down a producer's beat. She'll listen to the producer beat and she'll see if she can play that beat live. And that kind of engages the audience. So we want to see if the drummer wins or if the producer wins. And she's like, oh, sometimes I've done it, I've got it, I haven't got it. It's exciting, it creates a variety. So think of something that you can do instead of just posting your work, because although it's we have visual platforms, you want to be engaged. Your social media has become like your own reality show. Okay? This is your reality show. your reality TV show, and people are tuned in to watching you. And although sometimes we like to hide behind what we do, and we like to push the R out in front and hide behind it, they now want to see you, right? So don't be afraid to bring yourself to the front and introduce yourself and say, hi, this is who I am, and I create this. Okay, don't be afraid. Bring some variety. Let people start to see the face behind the brand, behind what you're building. That would engage people. It help build a more connection. It will help you with your networking. We want to see that. Okay. Optimize hashtags. So again, if you are just getting started on social media and you're not really sure, I know hashtags may not be such a thing anymore, but people still use them. And if you want to get ideas, if you want to find collaborations, if you want to connect, use hashtags. And that is basically searching for a word on a social media platform and finding it. They still work. They are still powerful. Okay. So depending on where your audience are, and depending on what you want to create, who you want to work with, you will have to choose which platform is best for you. Okay. I hope that everybody's aware of the different platforms. If you're not, again, we can save some time for Q&As at the end. Now, I'm going to move lastly onto your profile. So creating the ideal profile for your social media as a creative. So I would say this is crucial. This is a crucial element for you as a creative because it enables the audience, it captures the audience's attention. So if they go to your bio and they want to read about you, it enables you to convey your unique value proposition and tell people what you are and what you do. Okay, so let's look at some of the components of a good profile. So you want your profile to have a clear identity. So an identity that it identifies you as either a visual storyteller, artist, whatever your creative industry is, work is, you want it to identify you as that person that immediately communicates your creative nature and what your focus is. You also want to have a unique value proposition. So this emphasizes your passion for maybe merging art and emotions, or highlighting your distinctive approach. So what is your distinction? What tells you apart from every other creative in that industry? Your content. So your content is part of your profile. So your content focuses on, it states the intention to share the creative journey and behind the scenes moments, and it creates a sense of authenticity and transparency. So remember what I was saying before about when you're sharing posts, don't keep it as just the art. Share the creative journey, share the process, share the behind the scenes moments. That is what will get people involved. That's what gets people engaged. Honestly, I can sit for hours watching somebody paint. I think I saw somebody the other day creating a chain link out of a colored pencil. Amazing. I watched somebody do a real life drawing, just out of pencil, and it looked like a real life picture. I watch loads of food type things. That, believe it or not, is a creative for me. I'm always watching people cook food and do creative stuff with food. Amazing, especially cakes. I love cakes. You want it to show your artistic preferences. Okay, so express your love for maybe your different colors, the textures, the details, the aesthetics, the sounds, the melodies. However you use your creative gifts, that's what you want it to express. And lastly, you want it to have a call to action. And this is something that I think most people shy away from, is that asking for people to do something when they come on your page, whether that's book a call, whether that's visit my website, whether that's commission some work. A lot of people shy away from that because they don't want to come across as either salesy or pushy. They just want to share. They just want to bring value. But you could be missing so much if you don't have this. So a call to action, and that could be a button that invites the audience to join maybe and explore the creative process. It could be inviting them to create to share something with you off that social media platform, because that is something that's so important. We have to remember that, yes, although we are engaging with people on social media, that it's just as important to connect with them offline, off social media. So you could be inviting them to an event, meeting them in person, talking, networking, invite them to connect somewhere that is off social media, so that you can create even more personal relationships and optimize your network. Okay. So I'm coming to the end because there's so much about social media that I could share. And as you can tell, it's very broad in a sense, but I don't feel like half an hour really does it justice. But if you really want to discuss this in more detail about how you can leverage social media for your brand and how you can level up your brand, I'm more than happy to have a talk with anybody. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my Instagram or LinkedIn profile on in the chat later. But for now, we've got about 4 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions?
So, Jasmine, I have put all your contact details in the chat. Well, I think Satch has. So have a look if there's anything you want to add there. Anyone's got any questions? Please in the chat. Yep, go for it, Ketna.
Hi, Jasmine. That was really helpful. Thank you so much. I never know when to post. What time of the day is the best time to post? Any idea? Okay.
So that all depends on your audience. So you have so if it's Instagram or if it's Facebook, depending on what platform you use, you should be able to get IG analytics about who your and it will tell you who your followers are, what the gender of those followers are. It would tell you where they're located. It will tell you the times that they're on. We find like the optimal time sometimes, if I'm in the UK, it's in the morning, afternoon and evening. So if I'm posting 3 times a day, I'll post in the morning, I'll post in the afternoon, I'll post in the evening, and I'll also share to my stories. So it's just a combination. It's just finding out what's right for you. There is no universal best time to post on social media. It's a myth. And if anybody tells you that, it's a myth. It's not true.
Thank you.
It's interesting.
You're welcome.
I've got a question. So what I see a lot of artists doing is sharing their work. And sometimes that's quite a hurdle to do, but sharing, once they get into it, they're very good at sharing. But then what tips could you provide to actually turn that sharing into a sale? How to get that conversion? Like you mentioned call to action, which I think is really, we forget to do that sometimes. So could you just expand on that? Yeah,
sure. What you need to kind of remember as well as a creative, sometimes we think we're just creators, but if you're in a business of selling, you want people to buy your art, you have to remember that you're a business person too. Okay, so business people, if you're in the business of creating art for sale, you need to be asking for the sale. Ask for the sale, make the offer, have a call to action, share your art, yes, and say this is available for sale. Have a link that directs people to show them where they can buy it, because often people might want to buy and they don't know where can I buy this. Make it easy for yourself. Yeah, don't be afraid. As a creative, as anybody, I always say the offer you don't receive is the offer you didn't make. Right? So you're sitting there thinking nobody's interested in buying my art. That's because you haven't asked them to buy your art. Yeah. Maybe you could, and there's many creative ways in which you can do this, right? You can maybe do a collaboration and do an Instagram live or a Facebook live or something like this. When you've got a summit here, and you can have an art sale on Zoom, right? And say we're coming together. We've got some amazing collection pieces of art. Especially like I've only seen Kettner's. Honestly, the images haven't left my mind, Kettner, right? But I'm sure if you share some of those pieces and say we're going to have a digital art sale, a virtual art sale, not digital, a virtual art sale for some amazing pieces. If you are interested, if you're somebody that wants to buy art, come to this virtual art gallery where you're going to meet the artists. We're going to have a discussion about the art, and you're going to be able to bid, or maybe have a bid or something like that. But those are the creative. We have to get business minded when it comes to selling our pieces.
Absolutely, that's powerful. Kilna?
Thank you. Thank you, Avnie. Thank you, Jasmine. That was really, really helpful. I just wanted to add another tip, if that's okay. As a creative, a lot of us here are, rather than a static image, videos work really well. So videos on and specifically reels work really, really well. And for example, on Instagram, if you are following someone and they follow you, that's what they call is it a first, it's like a first tier or a second tier connection. I'm not quite sure how that works, but for example, I did a video of an unboxing. So it's there was no other music, literally just our voices, and just capturing someone's reaction to unboxing a piece of artwork. And normally my reels might get 1,000 views, 2,000 views, but this one actually got 15,000 views. So it was really, really powerful, actually.
Right. And very, very powerful, right?
Yeah.
And Reels is definitely one. And what I was talking about, the behind the scenes stuff. So when you're giving people access to the creative process, the buying process. So again, if you want people to buy, show somebody buying your piece of work, or say, look, I've just delivered a piece of artwork. This is your reality show. You are the star of the show, and you're inviting people to watch your TV. Yeah, this is your Netflix, this is your YouTube, this is your Prime membership, and people are buying into it. You got to make money from it, because Netflix are charging people, and so are YouTube now, right? So you start charging people to watch your show, okay?
I love it. Thank you.
Amazing.
I'm Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Oh, hi. Yeah, what was the name? Very interesting talk, actually, Jasmine. I use social media all the time because I teach on a Monday on Zoom. I've been doing this for 3 years now, quite successfully, but it is a pain having to, I mean, for instance, I'm just putting my stuff into Instagram now while listening to you. For Monday. Now, you mentioned something called something I can do on a weekly basis to schedule.
Yep. So you got the Meta Business Suite.
So
it's called
what
Meta now.
Can you write that in the chat?
Yeah, I'll write it in the chat. I'll put the link in that. Oh, thank you, Kilna. So yeah, it's Meta Business Suite. I'll put a link in there. So if you've got a Facebook account, which I'm sure you will if you've got Instagram, then you'll be able to access the Meta Business Suite. And what I have got,
but I have got that, I think,
So what I will do, because this is on throughout the day, after I finish here, I'll quickly go and record a Loom video, if that would be helpful, and just show people how to use the Meta Business Suite, and I'll share it with Avnie, and she can share it with the rest of the attendees to show you how to schedule your posts.
I mean, like if the post is different, I mean, with me, I do, I've set up a brand for my classes. It's, you know, my daughter's a designer, so we do the same sort of format every week with a different picture of the model. So would I be able to do that every week? Put the, you know, so it'd be a different image every week.
Yeah. Do that. You can do that. And I will show you. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll go and record a quick Loom video, and I'll show you the steps and how you can literally schedule your content, and it can post on both Instagram and Facebook, and you can leave it.
And can you add your hashtags? Because this is another thing I found that I'm not sure. I know you can copy and paste all your hashtags from one thing, but I really tried to do that, and I somehow failed to copy them. So each week I'm sitting there adding hashtags.
No, you can copy and paste. So if you use it in a previous post, you can, if you have it in a file somewhere, so you've got your normal hashtags in on a Word document or something, you can literally copy and paste it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Once you've copied and pasted, can you add extra hashtags?
Yeah, you can do that as well.
Okay, thank you so much. That's been a
No problem. No
Great.
problem.
And just a very quickly, last question from Furo. Thank you, Furo.
Hello, this has been really inspiring. Thank you, everyone. And my question is really about, I'm in the beginning of setting up my project and the entrepreneurial part of it, because I work full time. But my question is on like Facebook, if I wanted to start a part of that on social media, part of my creative life on social media, and I don't want everybody on my personal Facebook page to be bored with that, or to see it, or to care about it. I don't know. Is there a way to keep it separate? Do I create a new name and a new Facebook page separately, or do I just embrace it all and merge it into one? What's your advice?
I would advise you embrace it all and merge it into one, because you'll start to come to realize as you come on this entrepreneurial journey that it's not about you. It's about your audience. And whoever is, if they get bored of it, they can unfollow, they can remove themselves, but then you'll start to create the authentic audience that you need and the community that you need. So yeah, take yourself out of it. I know sometimes we're so connected with what we produce, like it becomes part of us, right? And we can get so caught up in it. But at the end of the day, we have to think about, what is the value? Am I sharing this for me, or am I sharing this for the value? So there's certain things I won't post. I'm not going to have my children all over Instagram, because if somebody says anything about my children, it's gonna bring out a different side of me that I don't want. So I'm not sharing. That's personal to me. So, but I will share things that I'm detached from. I don't need to worry about, because what I'm sharing, I'm serving. That's what I do. Okay, I'm serving. I might show the odd family pic, that's fine, but I'm serving at the end of the day, and it's really not about me. So when I started going on this path, and this entrepreneurial path, I knew that I'm going to be looked as, I'm changing, I'm different, I'm coming across as different to a lot of people. And in my head, I'm just like, oh, how are they going to see me? But I just thought, this is what I'm doing now. I can't worry about that. And it turns out a lot of people clap for you and congratulate you and say, like, well done. So yeah, that beginning part is just all in your head.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And like I said, I'm going to go and record that Loom video and share it with Avnie so that everybody can get access to that. And yes, I hope you enjoyed it.